This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
And let's just make sure that they can hear us. Hi, Judy. Can you hear us?
Yes, Meredith, I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good, how y'all doing?
It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, September 28th. We are here for the City of Roswell Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Steve Henderson.
Here.
Commissioner McCornack.
Here.
Commissioner Lassard.
Here.
Commissioner Aguilar.
Present.
Commissioner McDaniel is absent. Chair Story.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Anybody has had a chance to look over the agenda, has any changes, whatever? If not, I would accept a motion to approve the agenda from tonight's meeting.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the City of Roswell Planning and Zoning Commission for Tuesday, September 28th.
We have a motion by Jenna and a second by Steve to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the July, we didn't meet in August, July 27th, 2021, regular meeting minutes. If anybody has any changes, additions, comments, or anything, if not, I would accept a motion.
Chairman, I would move the approval of the minutes of our July 27th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve and a second by Saul to approve the minutes from the July 27th, 2021 meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Other business, we have review of planning and zoning commissioner terms, which you have in front of you. I'm not really sure what they're showing us here, but I'm sure Meredith can fill us in, or Kevin, or somebody.
Meredith, take care of this. That's the slides.
Well, we will try. There we go. So we have some terms coming up in March of 2022. Some first terms are getting to the end. So anyway, this is just for informational purposes so that you can plan ahead. And if you wish to apply again, you can, or if you choose not to serve a second term, you can think about that. This is a heads up and for information.
I do believe, just for everybody's edification, mine as well, that those Commissioner McDaniel and Commissioner Story will be termed out at the end of 2024. I believe pursuant to the city code, you're only allowed to serve 2 consecutive terms. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I was hoping there was something
I
in
think
here
there
about.
was something about 10 years. isn't
Yeah, I was
there?
hoping it was
Max
less than
10,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I guess that's for in cases like what happened to me when I filled in for a couple of years. So.
And that was the partial term that's shown up there. That doesn't count towards your 2 full consecutive terms.
Yeah, and that's actually what, a little over 2 years. So I can't serve my last month. 10 years for the last month. So we actually have James, Saul, and Jenna all up for reappointment or whatever you want to call it if they so desire. So you guys just, when do they need to let you all know, or do they let you know, or they just don't ever show up again?
No show.
Yeah.
Well, Since their time is up in March,
Of next year.
probably by, the end of February, good time.
We have the election at the beginning of March. By that time, everything will be taken care of. And of course, if they choose to request to be reappointed, they'll be presented to the city council for the meeting the fourth week of March, which would be ahead of when they would expire. So that decision just has to be your decision whether or not to reapply. If you have an open term, needs to be made no later than about the 1st of March so that we can get you on the agenda for the March city council meeting, where any new city councilors that are elected will be seated, and then they'll make the decisions at that time.
Okay.
I think they're like 90 days.
That's a question for the city clerk to answer.
Yeah,
What's that?
We
That's a
can
question for city clerk to verify.
find out.
Yeah, we'll verify that.
What was the question? For the comment?
Yeah, when they have to be notified, or when you'll have to notify us of your desire to serve an additional term. We'll verify that. But I actually have had that discussion with her, and I'm almost positive it's by the first week of March. But we'll verify for everybody, announce that. You also notice, I'm sure, that the city council absconded with one of our planning commissioners and decided to make him a city council person. So we do have a vacant position. We are here tonight to introduce two new candidates for that position. Alicia Gilmore, sitting right here, and Richard Gutierrez down there at the end. Earlier in the month, we went ahead and advertised for the position. We didn't have anybody, the city council nor the mayor had anybody in mind for the position. We went ahead and wanted to go ahead and float a request for additional commissioners out there. We actually got 3 applicants. I interviewed all 3. One of the applicants, also another very qualified woman, though, decided that she would better serve the city by applying possibly to be on the Parks and Recreation Commission, since landscaping and planting and all that good stuff is in her area of expertise. So tonight, we're bringing you forward 2 qualified candidates for you to talk to. You have the opportunity to review their applications. I understand Alicia has brought some additional information for you to review on her candidacy. Then you'll be able to ask questions and then discuss amongst yourselves. At this point, we would ask that during this evening, you have the opportunity either to move one of them forward to the mayor to recommend that for the appointment, or you can move both and they can make the decision at that time at the mayor's office. But this is your chance to interview and talk to these folks and make a decision about who you'd like to work with for the balance. Does this term end in 2024 or 2022, or do we know? Partial term. The question is a few months or 2 years and a few months?
It's the first term, it expires on March 31st, 2024.
24. So this will be a 2-year and 6 months roughly term. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce, now just so everybody knows, okay, at the risk of being chivalrous, okay, I am allowing the lady to go first. So Alicia, go ahead.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, everyone. My name's Alicia Gilmore, for the record. I feel really close to planning and zoning because my dad is a contractor. He's a home inspector here in town, and I'm also a real estate agent. So I'm constantly hearing about permits, compliance, all that stuff. I've been in real estate since 2016. I started out in Denver, Colorado as a property manager at an apartment community. And my son was born, so I moved back home to be closer to family. And I got my real estate license here. I also do pest control and termite treatments. So I know it's unusual. I'm an exterminator. And I've been licensed for about 13 years in that. So very, very, very fun work for me. I really like, being self-employed and kind of doing what I enjoy.
Do you exterminate scorpions?
I do. I do. Give me a call after this and I can help you out. The reason I want to be on this board is I want to learn and promote compliance and growth in Roswell. As a younger Hispanic woman, I think that I can represent a different demographic. And I think that's important to have all walks of life on a planning and zoning commission. What else about me? I do a lot of community work. I'm on the Red Coats. I just graduated Leadership Roswell. I'm the secretary of the Community Kitchen Board. I volunteer regularly serving the food there also. I'm a director on the Roswell Association Board of Realtors. And yeah, I really like to run also. That's a hobby of mine. Let's see, what can I say about myself? Yeah, I'm really determined and committed. So when I say I'm going to be somewhere and do something, I do it to the best of my ability every day.
Thank you much. Does anybody have any questions of Alicia?
I have one question.
Go
With
right
all the
ahead.
stuff that she does, when do you find time to sell real estate?
In my sleep.
I hear sleep is overrated.
Yeah, no, I do it throughout the day. I wake up early, usually about 4 a.m., catch up on all my emails. I'll go to the gym, get that out of the way, and then I have my whole day to kind of do all my things. So.
Either sell a house or kill a bug.
Yeah, exactly.
That works.
Thank you.
Richard Gutierrez is down here at the end. Richard, welcome. And
well, thank you. Thank you. A little bit about myself. I am originally from northern New Mexico, Santa Rosa to be exact. I attended school up in the northern end of New Mexico, Highlands University, and a couple of vocational schools up in northern New Mexico. Now, planning and zoning isn't my first rodeo. When I worked for the city of Santa Rosa, I was their code enforcement officer back then. So having been in the code enforcement and the planning and zoning end of it, I was able to produce a number of documents for the city of Santa Rosa, that being their subdivision regulations, which the county also adopted at that time. I have an extensive drafting background, so I produce a lot of drafting documents for a lot of your local contractors, as well as having an inspection service that the real estate agencies utilize. I go out and I inspect homes to help the real estate sellers sell their homes, and certainly have a limited range, but certainly I do cover Roswell, Artesia, Ruidoso, and parts just slightly north of here, that being Fort Sumner and a little area down in the east side of Roswell. So having said that, my background in drafting is quite extensive. I've been drafting for almost 32 years and have been doing that consistently for that long. And in fact, I'd worked for the Department of Transportation at one time in the tech support section, doing plan and profiles and road design, road and bridge design. So I come to you as somebody that's got some experience in both not only the civil end, but also the drafting and design end. Now, I've worked for a number of people that were not associated with planning and zoning, that being the Flexi and Artesia. So I was with their logistics manager for quite some time. So I worked with them for a bit. But having come into Roswell at the beginning 7 years ago, I worked at various number of small jobs. And then subsequently, I decided to go on my own and develop my own business as a draftsman and inspector. So that being said, I've got a lot of experience in drafting just about anything from tools to cars. I worked a little bit with GM engineers that doing a lot of their product specs and developing a lot of drafting for tools manufacturers, and certainly that wasn't my forte, but certainly the residential end is one of the things that I've come to love since I worked on a number of projects on my own, that being the historical buildings. Since living and working in Las Vegas, when I first started out, I worked with a small contractor that specialized in historic building renovation. We did a lot of commercial work, and a lot of the historic buildings that you see in Las Vegas, New Mexico, which, by the way, has one of the largest per capita historic buildings on display there than any other city within New Mexico. A lot of those buildings were some of our projects, so we renovated those older buildings on my own. I used to have a restaurant up in Santa Rosa, which was a 1901 sandstone cut building that I converted into a restaurant, and subsequently worked that for several years until the economic downturn told me that I just couldn't do that anymore. But yeah, I've had my hands in it, and I certainly know my way around the construction business, and so, you know, I haven't been out in the field other than just to visit with contractors and see what their needs are, and certainly develop the documentation for them. But on the other side of the coin, I've done quite a number of inspections for the real estate business, so I'm familiar with the real estate industry here and the growth of Roswell as it's coming about. So I think I'm rather prepared for what's going to be coming, and certainly I think I can handle that. And subsequently, my years thereafter in planning and zoning got me promoted to the community development director for the city of Santa Rosa at that time. So I not only have the management experience, I also have the ground level experience of that being out in the field. I've worked with some big people like HDR. I was their lead inspector on some of their Department of Transportation projects, two biggest ones being the visitor information centers on either end of the state, in Glen Rio and in Gallup. Two totally different kinds of buildings, one being a Kiva style, the other being a Pueblo style. And I would encourage you to either Google it or look up the projects that we were on. I was the lead inspector on those projects. So I look forward to working with the planning and zoning. It's one of the things that I've always been interested in since the early 80s. And certainly even before that, as a kid, I was drafting greenhouses for the Mota Land and Research, trying to extend their growth seasons up in the north, and certainly several of the biggest greenhouses still exist to this day up in Mora. So I'm just anxious to begin and work with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and hope that we can move Roswell forward and see to it that we do it in a well-planned and thoughtful way.
Thank you. Sounds like you need to be applying to the city as a draftsman.
Lewis is taking note.
I
didn't apply, but I just had somebody else in mind, and certainly I just decided, well, I'll just take care of business at hand.
Really? How long ago was that?
Excuse me?
How long ago was that when you applied to the city?
At that time, it was with Del Journey was the mayor.
Oh,
And certainly
that would have been under me.
Sorry, I don't know why. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy to be here.
Anybody have any questions of Richard or anything?
Mr. Chairman, then if there are no other questions, you have the opportunity tonight to, and again, understanding you are not bringing anybody on board. You are making a recommendation to the mayor. So you have the opportunity to recommend one of the applicants. You can recommend both of the applicants should you choose, or you can defer the decision until next month, give you all a chance to mull it over. We do have we have 6 people. We only need 4 to make a quorum, so we're not in any kind of a massively urgent situation here. But we did want to bring these 2 forwards and say we're the 2 that applied. Staff considers both of them very qualified, very capable. It is interesting that we get 2 completely diverse opinions and perspectives. I think both are valid at this point and would be valuable to the planning commission. But the decision, of course, is yours. You're the ones going to have to be sitting up on the dais or at the desk with these folks. So it's up to you at this point.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. So that being said, I guess we would accept a motion to move recommendation of either one or both on to the mayor for consideration. Whatever you guys, you want to discuss it? You want to just make a motion, see what happens? Steve?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think we have 2 good candidates, and the mayor is the one that makes the decision anyway. So it'd be my recommendation that we submit both candidates to the mayor.
Is that a motion?
I move that we submit both candidates to the mayor as a filler or a new member for the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll second.
Was it Lopez?
Daniel Lopez.
Filling his tenure.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. We have a motion by Steve and a second by Jana. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Sorry, guys. Be all honest.
Hey, we tried.
It's the mayor's decision. So we've learned over time that
Absolutely.
especially, I mean, if we'd have had somebody that we weren't comfortable with, we probably would have done something a little bit different. But I think we would, I know all these guys on the commission well enough and staff, and I think we would be, welcome to either one of you guys. Be lucky to have either one of you. So good luck.
Okay.
What will happen at this point forward, the next city council meeting is October 14th. So we have time. What we'll do is we will move both of your applications forward to the mayor. We will get you on the agenda for the October meeting. So you're not having to, wait on pins and needles for a long time. So about 2.5 weeks from now, you'll have a decision. We'll let you know that we're on the agenda and moving forward. Okay.
Should they attend the city council meeting?
I will discuss that with, my guess is that's probably not a bad idea. The question is whether or not they will, the city council will take the time to ask any questions.
Will the mayor already have made his decision prior?
Most likely, yes.
So he would be on the consent agenda probably.
It'll be an action item, but by then, when it gets to council, the mayor's already made a decision. That's the recommendation that gets put on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions, you guys?
No.
Y'all are welcome to stay. You're welcome to leave. Steve?
I would just recommend to the candidates that you visit with the mayor and you tell him your qualifications.
Absolutely.
And in order to give him a fair appraisal of your.
The good words of wisdom from Commissioner.
Okay, good idea. Okay, thank you, too.
You're
Like
welcome.
I say, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to leave, whatever you would like to do.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you for coming.
Have a good evening. Thanks for having me.
Good luck.
Hey, Alicia, I have a question for you before you leave. We killed a big centipede the other day. Are they native to here? Because we had a bunch of stuff come in from Lubbock, a bunch of boxes and stuff. And so we're blaming it on Lubbock.
No, they are native to here, especially if you live in a really grown out area with big trees and big yards.
Okay.
Definitely. But I can treat your yard for you.
Well, I might have to talk. We might also need you to move because after my wife saw that centipede, we're moving.
I can find you a house. Or we can burn yours down and get you another one. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye. It was nice to see you again.
Still blaming it on Lubbock. P and Z, and item number 3 under other business is the P and Z meeting schedule. There's a calendar on the very back page with all these yellow dots and stuff on it. Meredith, you want to go over this or what do we want to do here?
Sure, Chair Story, Commissioners. So we have 3 meetings left scheduled, at least in 2021, October 26th. Then in November, because of Thanksgiving, we had set it last year for November 16th, which would be the 3rd Tuesday. And then December 14th would be the 2nd Tuesday.
Does that give you guys enough time to accept applications? If you typically don't get a whole lot in those 2 months.
Right.
But does that give you enough time to do everything you need to do? I mean, I don't think any of us would be adverse. Probably the 23rd of November, right before Thanksgiving, might be a little rough, but I would think maybe, the 21st or the 28th of December wouldn't be that big of a deal if you need the time.
Okay.
Just my opinion. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Whatever works out best for you guys and your schedule. Any day in December,
Okay, any day in December.
Tuesdays in December.
What would be the normal schedule? That'd be the
It'd
21st,
be the 28th.
21st.
28th. Okay.
Because we
Or the
usually
20th.
typically meet the last Tuesday of the month.
Right.
The 4th.
Fourth, of the 4th, no matter if it's the. Okay. I mean, 5th, March got 5 months.
The infrastructure will meet the 22nd of November and 20th of December. Because sometimes business doesn't end.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
I'll be gone that week of Thanksgiving, so.
Can join us from the football game.
So the 16th would work for you because you'll be gone the following week. When's Thanksgiving? It's the
16th, yeah, 16th will work.
25th.
Yeah.
The red number there. Okay. Well, are we supposed to do anything with the 2022 calendar? Or are we just kind of going with the way you got it now?
Well,
It looks
Well,
like there's 2 days.
and Chair Story, Commissioners, I put down the 4th Tuesday, January through October, and then November, giving you options of the 15th or the 22nd of November.
Probably the 15th would work.
And
Yeah,
It's not Thanksgiving week.
that's not Thanksgiving week, but we do have 5 Thursdays that month.
Following week.
The following week, which would not be a holiday week. I don't know if anybody else.
that'd be great.
I think that would be
I know there are
fine.
a lot of people that try to get away the entire week. It's usually the last week.
And we want to give you guys plenty of time to process applications and notices and stuff. So I think the 29th of November would probably be good. And then probably, I think probably December 20th instead of the 27th. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. 20th.
Okay. So that would be the 3rd Tuesday.
Right. Anything else on that you need from us, Meredith?
If you look at I'm sorry, I'm thinking about 100 things. The December for this year, we decide the 21st or the 28th.
Sounded like the 28th.
28th.
Yeah.
28th.
28th? Good. All right. We will plan accordingly.
Okay, that's the end of the other business. Staff communications, staff reports, cannabis ordinance update.
All right, Meredith, why don't you advance those slides? Yes. The rest of the meeting is basically just an update on where we're at, all the things that we've been doing over the past few months and what you can expect going into the holidays and beyond. Wanted to give you an update on where we are with the cannabis ordinance. It has, of course, it was adopted on August 12th, excuse me. And amended chapter 27 of the Cannabis Code.
Would you like for me to read that for you? Resolution 2159, I could probably go through these a little quicker than what you.
Might be.
2159 was adopted in September, and number 1 was, amendment number 1 was in October. If anybody has any questions about what those are in there at this point in time, I'm sure Kevin can. I don't know that we actually need to know that at this time, other than what.
We can certainly read the ordinances.
Yeah, that's not happening.
75 pages to this point.
That'll get voted down real quick. Next slide. Anybody got any questions on
Go
this?
for it.
No.
There we go. Amendment number 2 is coming. This is going to flesh out a lot of the design and development requirements as well as the regulations. We are expecting to go to legal committee on October 28th and then follow up with the city council on December 9th. The same night, we are updating the Clean Air Act for a number of different reasons. Our current act is, of course, we euphemistically call it the smoking ordinance or the non-smoking ordinance. It is currently in the nuisance ordinance section of the code. That's not an appropriate place for it, so we're going to be moving it over to human rights, which is where it belongs, the Clean Air Act. We will be adding sections on vaping as well as adding sections on cannabis. And in particular, this will provide protections for some of our public spaces, ensuring that people are not out in the middle of the park, smoking. And we expect that has been written and drafted. It will go hopefully to the legal committee at the end of this month and then on to public hearing, assuming that it's moved forward to the city council. It'll go on December 9th. So by the end of the year, we will have 2 major ordinances completely updated and ready for implementation. Okay. Next slide.
When I was on the council, I tried to get vaping included in the Clean Air Act and got shot down. So you may.
Hey, haven't gotten any feedback on that yet, but we expect that to be happening here in the very near future. All right, on to general community development updates. Lots of exciting stuff in the process. Just last week, we introduced and the legal committee approved our municipal infrastructure reimbursement program. This is something that's been discussed for a number of years. Hobbs implemented a similar model 3 or 4 years ago. They've been very successful in facilitating development, new construction, a lot of new housing over there. We took their model. We had some discussions. We think we have an improved version of it now, ready to roll out. Like I said, legal committee did review it. I'm sorry, infrastructure committee. No, legal committee reviewed it and approved it last week. It is set to go to public hearing again on October 14th, and hopefully we'll achieve adoption. Once it's adopted, the program itself will have to be funded, and there's a nice breakdown of how people can access those funds in order to facilitate single family and multifamily construction. So, next slide. We wanted to make it clear that, so we added a purpose and intent to ours to make sure, and again, the intent of the program is to provide additional housing throughout opportunities throughout the city of Roswell at all levels. So we're looking at everything from workforce housing to mid-level upgrade housing, all the way up to and including estate type housing, so that we can have a wide variety of housing available across the board for many of the new companies that are moving in. If you've been keeping track of what's going on at some of the other meetings, you'll know that Scott Stark and his team down at the airport have been very effective at recruiting some very exciting new businesses that will be coming in over the next few months. And over the next couple of years, you are going to see our housing needs grow exponentially here in the city. Okay. So we also want to back up one slide. We also want to make sure we facilitate infill development as well. We have got that program. Todd isn't here. He's left already, but Todd has been working diligently. We now have a complete spreadsheet of all the available properties that the city has acquired through our Clean and Safe program over the last few years there, and as well as has got that linked to a Google Maps or Google Earth, one of the two functions. So you can click on it, you can see the properties. That will eventually be linked to our GIS program. So our GIS program, then you'll be able to pull up all the data on it, the zoning, the dimensions of the property, the size, the whole 9 yards. So it's going to be, we're working on putting together due diligence packages for all of these properties, and we want to get them back out there on the market and get people to develop these properties. The one thing the city council wanted to make very clear is that the total intent is to increase the levels of primary owner occupancy for single family residential units. We want to make sure, and we'll do this through a development agreement, that when these single family residential units are sold, they're sold primarily to owner occupants. Okay? If you want to be a real estate investor, then build yourself a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, a major apartment project, that's fine. But we want to facilitate single family ownership, owner occupied properties. Okay. And last but not least, then this seems kind of obvious, increase the total number and availability of housing opportunities within the city, again, across the board, from entry level all the way up to and including your estate housing. Okay, next slide. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the City of Roswell Development Services Center. You've probably been hearing about this project now for several years as well. It's been the intent since well before I was hired here to create a one-stop development services center, get everybody under one roof. Well, I am exceedingly proud to say it's happening. It is happening. I joked with Joe, the city manager, about him buying me a birthday present. He bought me an entire building. It just so happened we signed the lease agreement. He didn't buy it. We leased it on my birthday in June. We've been working diligently with the property owner to rehab the building. It has been cleaned out. It has been, any concerns over lead paint, asbestos, and everything else have all been remediated at this point.
What building are you talking about?
What's that?
What building are you talking about?
If you look across the street, you see it.
Over there?
Yeah, we will be in the first floor, the former bank end of it. We're taking over the entire bottom floor. We're working with the architect. We will have room for all of our divisions, planning and zoning, building inspections, business license, code enforcement, real property. If I have it my way, I'll have enough room that I'll borrow an engineer once in a while from Lewis to come over and hang out and review, help us in plan review. Also enough room for the fire marshal to come over and help us out with plans. We will have our pre-application review process, and as a bonus, the planning commission gets a brand new meeting room.
Oh, great.
So we will have a nice, new, upgraded, fully electronic, audio video capable meeting room for the planning commission and for large project meetings, and all under one roof. Okay, next slide, please. So, I was just going to give you real quick the timeline. We are hoping right now, the expectation is that we will relocate during December, right around the holidays. Okay. Yeah, we've been working on this for quite a while. It's just gotten to the point where we feel like we can develop a timeline. But the idea is to do a soft launch throughout the holidays, work out any kinks, make sure all of our electronics are working properly, and then do a full-blown grand opening with bells and whistles and balloons and fireworks and the whole 9 yards in mid to late January. So, all right. Continuing on with our permits, again, you've seen this slide a couple of times. The only difference is this time around, you'll see the numbers have gone down dramatically. That's because we started a new fiscal year. So we had to reset everything to zero, but you'll see the numbers climb. So you've got August and July totals, fiscal FYTD, fiscal year to date. Fiscal year began July 1, and you can see some of the numbers. Lots of fence placements, alley cuts, curb cuts, zoning, address reassignments. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay. We had a handful of summary plats. We're starting to get a few more of those coming through as well, which is a good sign because people are revising their plat maps in order to facilitate sale of new development. I've got one that hit my desk just a couple of days ago, Lewis. I have to bring up the stairs to have you review it.
Okay.
Our friends over at the Wilshire Center have got theirs done. And all the other thing, building permits, the zoning review portion of that. Again, 37 of those already. Again, your building permit zoning review, that's for new construction, all new construction as well. Zoning violations, look at that. That's one we're kind of proud of right now. Word is getting out. We're making sure that people are in compliance. We had 0 zoning violations in the last 2 months. So that 0 is a good one. Okay. Business license review, again, simple business license review 12. So, all right, next slide. All right.
Okay, we're done.
Not quite.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Permit type, single family. We are now, when you consider that in a typical year, we've only been building 50 to 60 homes on average. We're already at 23 in the first 2 months. Okay. And these are individual homes. And we don't have any major subdivisions underway right now.
How does 6 and 3 add up to 23?
I'm obviously missing a number in there somewhere because the total, that could, then again, I'm not,
Scrivener's error.
I'll have to look at that anyway.
Well, I look it down at 0 and 1 is 17, 0, 1 is 22.
I have I not updated things? Did I forget to calculate the year-to-date total?
You need to come in and check your spreadsheet.
I better. All right, I'll take the blame on that one anyway.
I think this is from Gina.
Yeah, I guess it only feels like 23 because it seems like we got that many people coming through the office every single day talking about stuff. All right. Anyway, so again, filling things, well, see, I've got the 23 right at the bottom, August and July, and maybe, who knows? Anyway. All right, let's move on. We'll correct that slide next week. All right, just some of the redevelopment and this is redevelopment. These are existing sites that have come in to upgrade or facilitate things. Nellie's Restaurant, again, a couple of 1,000 square feet for a new flooring company. Bahama Bucks, something we're very excited about. They are going vertical right now over there off of Mescalero. Okay. Brasher Road, 5,001 square foot office, okay, with another 103,491 square feet for Admiral Beverage. Okay, that is going to be a nice brand new facility. That is one of their new state-of-the-art distribution centers that's coming in. And of course, they're actually taking the property. If you look at that whole property, they're taking property back away from Southeast Maine, and all the property along Southeast Maine is still going to be available for additional development. So it's going to be a nice facility. Okay.
The UPS place is going to expand out there too on East Brasher, right?
That's my understanding. Haven't seen anything yet, have we?
The FedEx.
FedEx.
Yeah.
FedEx is doing some work.
Yeah, they're expanding now.
All right, next slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, a big new RV bay at Main Trailer Sales down here on 2nd Street. Okay, Quality Motors, remodeling the old Quality Motors and with a drive-through for burritos and more. They continue to expand. How many different sites does Burritos and More have just in town?
Just the two, the north and south.
Yeah. So
That's Burrito Express.
Everything can be, Burrito Express is the other one.
okay. All right. And then, of course, new storage facilities out at Billy the Kid Storage. And of course, this is just the stuff in town. Again, I encourage all of you to listen to some of the infrastructure meetings and some of the other meetings where Scott Stark and his team are talking about what's going on down at the airport, because that is incredibly exciting what's happening down there. All right.
Let me ask a question.
Sure.
I understand Farm Credit, New Mexico Farm Credit is going to go out on West Country Club.
Yep. Why don't you just go ahead and advance the slide there, Meredith, because Kevin's made math errors again on another one. So, okay, those are all good. The slides, but okay, this one I'm sure I updated correctly. But hold that thought, Commissioner. We'll get to that one in just a second. Again, we have been, like I said, it only seems like a lot more because we have people coming through all day long. It seems like Meredith is on the phone or talking to someone all day long, every single day. If you come into the office across the way, my office sits right near the front door. I am directing traffic all day long, every single day, telling people to move along. So yes, I only have 33 and 2861 myself personally, but everybody that comes through, we have a chance to talk to shake hands with, to do the whole meet and greet kind of thing. It's all good. Next slide. Okay. Business license, again, I went ahead and put up the renewals versus the new business license. This is important because 82 renewals is important, but 140 new licenses pulled just in the month of August. Okay, next slide. Okay. Building permit total in the month of August, 317 different building permits of all different varieties, where Cassandra is just working her fingers off over there, punching things in, and we're going to have a major upgrade to our business licensing and our building permit program, probably by the end of next month. So we're hoping that we'll be streamlining that program as part of the opening of the community development, the Development Services Center, which will include a public portal on the website. People will be able to apply for permits and receive their permits online, do all their plan checking electronically. They won't have, we'll have this big new building, and theoretically you won't ever have to set foot in it. Okay.
Right.
In order to get things done. 2021 year to date, again, in only 2 months, over 1,000 building permits of all different types issued. Okay, next slide. Code enforcement, I always make a big deal about how hard our code enforcement officers work. Okay, the one thing I do, we notices mailed, okay, notices are violations, but look at how many our guys have managed to get into voluntary compliance. Over 2/3 of people resolve a situation just by calling and working with our team. They're very good at what they do. Okay, handful of cases filed, a number of them dismissed. Okay. Weeds, if you've heard the resolutions, weeds have been an ongoing battle this year with all the rain we've had and everything else, but we're getting control of it. Now that the weather's cooling off, it looks like we're finally going to get a handle on everything, get it all knocked down. Inoperable vehicles still seems to be a bit of a problem around town. Okay, trying to get that all cleaned up. Another big goose egg though, 0 on signs. Nobody violating the sign ordinance recently. So at least nothing that's been turned in we've had to do anything with. And then garage sales, public nuisances is always a bit of a challenge. We have a number of things. You think that number's a little high? I make another math error.
I don't see many public nuisances. I don't know.
That's why we hired Spencer's to deal with public nuisances, right? So, you know, he claims to be busy all the time. So we'll let him ride with that one. Okay. Next slide. Okay, here we go. Commissioner, let's talk about some of this stuff. These are noteworthy projects that are on the boards. This is what we can absolutely positively talk about right now. Okay, Wilshire Plaza. That is the plaza at North Main and Mescalero. The is it AutoZone that sits out in front of that?
Yes.
That area, AutoZone.
Big
That one, that entire shopping center has been purchased. It's been sold and repurchased by a group of local investors. Okay, those local investors have been working directly with me on a number of things. They are going to sink a lot of money into that, upgrading landscaping, upgrading parking, upgrading the signage, bringing that shopping center, that 1970s style shopping center into the 21st century. So it's going to be a very nice upgrade. As part of one of the first things they've done though, as part of that renovation upgrade, they've signed a deal with Popeye's Restaurant. Popeye's Restaurant is probably within 30 days of pulling permits and going under construction. We've been working directly, very closely with them. Again, they're coming in with a nice new facility, upgraded landscaping, better circulation, better parking.
Where's that one going to be?
That's the Wilshire Center. That's, yeah, you know where the,
Inside the same complex.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great one. Texas Roadhouse.
Doesn't Popeyes have take in, take out? How are they going to do that? They have a drive-through?
They're going to have a drive-through, yeah. No, it's going to look good. And as part of their development, they're also upgrading the main entrance into there. So you'll have 2 driveway lanes, one left turn in, a right turn in, and then the with a nice wide landscape area for new signage and everything else. It's going to look nice.
It's a new building
That's a brand new building.
To an existing, okay.
They're going out on one of the pads that's never been developed.
Okay.
So the existing.
Exactly, I was wondering.
Yes, will be coming out.
Okay.
Okay, that's been, they've been on a month-to-month lease now for quite some time, and they've been given notice that.
Is that the bistro or whatever that's?
Fast lane.
Fast lane, that little fast lane. And then they are in discussions on the other corner, right up the corner of Main and Mescalero as well, to bring in another major national bank.
Great.
Okay. So, and then of course redoing the entire shopping center itself. Texas Roadhouse, I can talk about them because they've already advertised that they're hiring. Okay, you probably saw that on Facebook. They are hiring new management. They're hiring new staff. They're going to be training them, I believe in Hobbs is where they're going to be doing the training. Is it Hobbs they're going to be doing the training? Somewhere else.
Yeah, that's our latest facility.
Yeah, they'll be training in Hobbs. We've been in direct contact with the design team, had a couple of meetings with them. They are about, they're within days of having their site plan and everything all worked out. So they'll be moving forward.
Where are they going?
Tierra Berenda and North Main. So just north of what's the hotel that's right there?
The Antigua, the town.
Liberty right in front of us.
Yeah. So
They've already have an address advertised,
Yeah,
3016.
they do. So they are coming in with their latest and best version of Texas Roadhouse. This is their new, what they call their international version. I didn't realize it, but Texas Roadhouse is an international company. They just built a big Texas Roadhouse, a couple of them in the Middle East recently. So evidently they like Texas steak in the Middle East. So, well, that's good. With Texas Roadhouse is what we're calling at this point the Tierra Berenda Plaza. That is the entire shopping center that goes around Texas Roadhouse as well. So it adds about another 4 or 5 acres of shopping, a couple of outpads for drive-through restaurants and other things. That is moving forward as well. Big news, Town Plaza Apartments. Been an eyesore for the city for years.
Is that the ones on Sunset?
Sunset and McGaffey.
That was one of my questions.
Sunset and McGaffey, okay? It's sold. Somebody actually bought it. And they actually bought it. And to prove they are serious, they paid off the liens that the city had against the property. So as part of it, they've closed escrow. They are in preliminary design work. We are working things out with them. They have completed most of their due diligence. Right now, they expect to move forward this timeframe where they're doing their design work and their due diligence is going to take 3 to 4 months, but you can expect shortly after the first of the year, depending on, as we all know, it's a little tough with construction materials and labor right now. But what they're going to do is they're currently working with the airport to find a secure facility. They're going to bring in all of their materials at one time, have everything stockpiled, safe, secure. And then at that point, when they pull the trigger, that thing will come down and then turn right around and go right back up.
Great.
A whole lot faster than some other projects that have multifamily
They're not
residential.
remodeling, they're just knocking it down?
No, they are hoping at this point to utilize at least some of what's there. Okay, they are going to be, they are
on the inside and
they are going to be probably some of the single story units there. They're probably going to be, and again, this is all speculative at this point. We haven't seen the plans, but there's a discussion right now about the possibility of knocking down completely, taking out some of the existing single story, coming back with 2-story units so that we can get some additional density out of there. There's only about 72 units on that property right now. So for a multifamily project, it's relatively low density. Okay, but they would like to get a few more units out of it. And considering how desperately we need workforce housing, especially on the south side of town, it's going to be a very welcome addition to the property.
So Meredith, that means you won't get any more calls from me about that, okay?
your call number will go down.
That was 62 of the calls last month.
Exactly.
All right. Commissioner, you brought up Farm Credit of New Mexico. Yes, they have bought 3 acres at the corner of Country Club and Union, I think. 3 acres of the Country Club and Union. This was a property that the second one there, this outpatient surgery center, they came forward a few months ago. We did a zone change, but we rezoned the entire 6 acres with anticipation of moving in a bank or some other type of facility that would complement that entire area. Farm Credit gave me a call the other day and let me know that they had in fact purchased that property. They've been looking for quite some time. They purchased that property and to expect their design team to be getting in touch with us right away. They were asking, of course, the usual questions. How quickly can we move forward? How long does it take? And things. And I've told them that we will do everything we can to facilitate their development, okay, as well.
My daughter is vice president for human resources for Farm Credit. She works in Albuquerque.
Okay.
And, but one thing, they're going to build a pretty big facility and they're going to have a community room in that complex. So they would invite community groups to have meetings there. So it's a good corporate citizen for Roswell.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to it. I've been in touch with a number of people at Farm Credit. In fact, I've got a meeting on Friday with one of the gentlemen who's part of the team that's doing that development. So I get every indication it's going to move forward relatively quickly. So just, okay, next slide. I didn't have one more slide? Okay. Anyway, there are a handful of other things, again, rumors and rumors of rumors. Some of them somewhat true, some of them I haven't quite verified yet, but of course, there's ongoing discussions about a couple of national chain restaurants that have been kicking the tires and looking around town. A large national chain big box store, again, kicking the tires, looking around town. Another large home improvement store, looking around town. So as soon as we can, we have something definite, we'll bring that forward and keep you all in the loop.
Let me ask, what is the large steel structure going up in about the 23 or 24
Is that Firehouse Subs? Yeah, that's Firehouse Subs.
firehouse subs?
Yes.
I have a question. It's not on the list. And I know it probably hasn't been looked at in a while, but the old meat processing plant over there, yeah, Glover's, yeah. You know what's going on over there? Because that looks like a jungle over there. I mean,
We haven't met with that family for about a year,
mhm,
and they were gonna bring in a meat processing.
that's what I heard,
They
yeah.
had their own ranching, but we haven't heard anything for about a
Okay.
year.
But it's really overgrown, more so than I've ever seen it. And granted, I know weeds are far more this year, but I mean, I'll bet they're 6-7 feet tall. So
So Meredith, take a look at that. Let's have Toby look into that and see.
they've just never let it go like that before. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, I haven't heard from them
Yeah.
about a year.
Any questions, concerns, issues of importance from staff, commissioners? Okay, moving on. Public comments, Larry?
After, I hate calling stuff, Kevin, he still has a big spot. I'll give you a little news. I'm working with this committee, this new committee, Keep Roswell Beautiful. And getting their logo out, signs, everything in the newspaper, buying new bags. And we're gonna do something different. We're gonna literally give the bags away free. I met with the realtors, trying to get a donation. I think we're going to do a donation. They have already 28,000 from the state. The realtors, who wants clean properties? Realtors. And they've indicated they will give us money to buy more sacks. I'm running around the street, I'm giving them out to homeless people, push the carts up and down. Say, hey, please keep our city clean. We're gonna get these signs up all over. The realtors, we're gonna put inventory of these bags at Landmark Title, the title companies. So if somebody buys property, new house, they'll get a bag and a grabber to pick up the trash and everything. Yeah.
Is there someplace in the city
What?
that those could be, the city and or the county buildings could be
Oh, yeah.
given out from there?
County is different. County has their own. Rita has it. Rita and I serve on the UTC, and I think eventually we'll get together. But
I mean, someplace like the city building new place over there, there'd be a lot of people in and out or whatever. If you had a place to grab a bag on the way in or way out.
I would think our new development service center, we should have a rack full of those bags.
Oh, sure, all over town.
And they get a lot of traffic over there.
I'll tell you, one place, went up to the community kitchen. They have people come in all the time, every day pick up. Well, they give them plastic bags with food. The old gray bags weren't gusseted. These are degusseted, so they can take community kitchen. Person will come in and they'll say, hey, hi, and they'll put their food in the bag and eliminate the trash, So we're making progress. Oh, and more important, this is the city committee. Some of you know Kathy Lee, who used to, Main Street? I mean, this woman, she is now working for the city. This woman is dynamite. I mean dynamite.
Right.
And you throw an idea out to her and boom, away she goes. She's just terrific. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Any other public comments?
I have a question about the collapsed building. Do you know what's happening with that?
Yeah.
The collapsed building over there on
Southeast Main, Pizza Hut, the old Pizza Hut.
Right there by
There
Subway.
was supposed to be a demolition control by then, but apparently there hasn't been yet.
I am not sure what's going on with that building right now. I mean, not off the top of my head. I can certainly look into
The
it.
fence is up. I noticed that the fence is up, but it's been there for about a month now. So, yeah.
They said they'd tear it down, but
You know which one we're talking about, right, Meredith? Okay.
Yeah, it's right there at South Subway.
I think it was a floral place. It looks like an old Pizza Hut, but.
It was a pizza.
Oh, it was, okay. But I think that, I know there was a
Larry
floral
Bratton
company
was
in
in
there
there.
at one time too, so.
No window.
That's it.
Okay, anything else?
I'll follow up tomorrow.
Just one last item of interest for everybody. Spencer has been working incredibly hard on updating all of our applications, putting together a brand new checklist as part of our program to expedite plan check and permitting. We're putting together all new lists, all new requirements, but what we found as we were putting those things together is that there are a number of things that our building and development community, engineers, architects, contractors, them all, need to do in order to ensure that they are fully in compliance with state building laws as well as FHA requirements for new housing. We want to make sure that any new housing that's built in the area has the best opportunity to get occupied by single-family homeowners, by owner occupants. The best way to do that is to ensure we meet FHA loan requirements so that people can have an opportunity to get FHA-backed loans, hopefully not have to pay those exorbitant private mortgage PMI fees like a lot of us end up having to pay because we can't get an FHA loan because the buildings are, a lot of the homes here in town are just too old for that. They don't comply with FHA, in particular having to do with grading and drainage. Okay, so we are asking more from our development community. We're asking for more information up front. Okay, we are getting a few, of course, you can imagine there are a few people that are resistant to change and resistant to the new requirements, but there is nothing we're asking for is anything that isn't already codified, either at the state or federal level. We're just making sure that all of our people have the best chance to design, build, and then sell and get these homes occupied by people. So one of the things we want to make sure they do, but we're putting together brand new checklists, brand new information. So if you hear of anyone who's concerned about the amount of information we're requiring or asking for up front, please send them either directly to myself or send them to Spencer. We've got those checklists put together. And the goal is if they use our checklist, if they put together a site plan with all the drainage requirements on it, we will be able to stand at the counter and look at the checklist and go, yep. And if they've done it all and mathematically it works, we'll be able to issue permits in less than 24 hours.
Wow, that's great.
The idea is to really speed up the turnaround time, especially on something as simple as a traditional single family home. There's no reason for it to be sitting in anyone's office for more, even if it's a complex custom, mansion, it should not be sitting around long. And for a lot of the production style housing that we're going to be seeing for, entry level first time home buyers, things like that. Those are the kind of things that we want to be able to turn out because we know and understand that in the home building industry, nobody makes any money until that home is sold. It's all cash flow out up until that point. So we want to do everything we can to facilitate that process.
Larry, you had one other comment?
I just thought of something. Kevin and I were talking the other day. I walked in the door, get a permit, a business permit. You know what you pay? $35 for a license, an annual license. We can't charge anymore because we're doing home rule. It's state legislature that goes. Steve. Still in the municipal league, right?
No, I'm out of that now.
Oh, okay, well, you still have friends.
Steve?
A quick question, the status of the proposed project out at West Second and Sycamore, those guys were going to redo that
The big awesome.
station. Is that dead or
They are certainly reconsidering or considering their options. Okay, when we reviewed that project thoroughly and we looked at the potential impacts to that intersection, that existing Allsup's that's there only has 2 pumps and it's got a relatively small food store. Okay, their proposal was to come in with 13 different fueling islands. Okay, combination of gasoline, diesel, and I believe also 3 electric charging stations, a 6,000 square foot mini mart, and they would have another almost half an acre behind the store, just to the north of the store, that could be utilized for another fast food restaurant or everything else. We looked at the potential traffic impacts. Both Lewis and I reviewed the traffic impact analysis. We found it to be deficient.
Deficient.
Is that a kind word?
That's a kind word.
That's a kind word. Okay, deficient. We discussed those deficiencies with the developer. At this point, the developer has decided that they will review whether or not they want to move forward with that project based upon the reality is, and this is something that we have to be cognizant of as planning commissioners, as well as city staff, is the cumulative impacts of development, especially along Sycamore. Sycamore is going to be the next, from Country Club all the way to 2nd Street, is going to be the next major north-south commercial highway in this town, commercial arterial. There's going to, with the city now having full control of the old municipal airport, we're moving forward with some master planning on that as well. We're going to have, yes, a lot of it is going to be designed for recreation and other things. Probably 50% of it is probably going to be recreation, but the other 50%, that part from what is now proposed Montana, which runs right through the center of it, to the west, all the way over to Sycamore, that is going to be a combination of commercial, mixed-use development, and high-density residential.
Well, knowing that's going to happen, and a lot of it's city-sponsored, why wouldn't, or have you guys even thought about chipping in with the Allsup's to do some improvements to that intersection? I mean, because that's what I always got into, is that, you're putting all the burden on this one guy, and then the guy who comes in behind him, he's scot-free.
Right.
Who's already there. I mean, to me, with this new, you're going to give them money to help with the development and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that's something you look at too, is that, it's coming.
We floated the option of a development agreement that would just do that. We haven't heard anything back. Okay. Every development has the opportunity to put forward a development agreement to discuss that. We understand, I think, as a department and as a city as a whole, certainly Lewis understands probably better than anybody, that there are times when it's appropriate to invest in the community. That was the whole purpose of the municipal infrastructure reimbursement program. But that's geared towards residential. Right? Commercial, we can look at it a little differently now, but there is no way you can ignore a 650% increase in the traffic and the impacts. That intersection is already a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's offset.
Drainage
That is. That's a hard one.
No, I understand, but to me, you guys are wanting, you want this development, and that the city's got some implications. That would be a perfect example, I would think, that you chip in, you help, you do something.
There's something else, that we end up limiting the developers to, because, and I know you guys know that I'm involved in that property that Mr. Mitchell has purchased. And one of the comments that was at one of our planning and zoning meetings is that, well, do you really think we should develop that because the school over there won't be able to handle the number of kids? And what about a lot of different other things that came up? what happens is, so what good is that property then? Are you telling the developer then rezone it because all it's good for is a solar farm? You know, and I think we have to be careful about, and I understand the Allsup's thing, but I mean, I think we have to be careful about limiting the developer because of things they have no control over, you know? So.
We did put in the case of that large project there at Country Club and Sycamore, we did put the developer in touch with the school district early because we understand. You got 900 homes coming in through there, average family size of 4.4 to 4.5 people. 2.5 of those are going to be kids, you know, for every house. You're talking about, 1,800 to 2,200 children that are going to need a place to go to school. And right now, Military Heights, you can't get in and out of that. But that was another reason for also shutting off 19th, I think it is the 19th that runs past Military Heights. Okay, 19th as a street is unable to handle the level of traffic, which is why we brought 19th in and then brought it up to the north so that we could increase the circulation. We also encouraged the developer to put that 30-acre commercial corner up there there because we want people focused not on heading back towards Main Street, not going back to the east, but focusing their day-to-day living towards Sycamore and towards the west. School districts are always insanely difficult to work with because they operate under a state requirement known as they can't do anticipated need. They have to have the need has to exist. In other words, your schools already have to be overloaded before you can even apply or begin to think about building a new school, before the funding is available. So it's got to be a demonstrated need, I believe. And you can't demonstrate need until you've got kids lined out the door or you built 24 portables and everything else. So, but they've been put on notice. They are part of our regular notification list now. The school districts will be advised. They'll know in advance of what's coming. And hopefully all we can do is ask them to get on top of it. The school district has a lot of property in town that's undeveloped right now. They have plenty of opportunities to build new schools. They've just got to go through their process to get it going. So
I just want us to think about that when we're talking to the developers, so that, that, like I said, well, the property is only good for a solar farm then, and being careful that we don't give that kind of impression. So.
And that's the one thing that I hope we are changing. Okay, coming out of from a development background, which I do. Okay, I am always looking for the highest and best use. Okay, what is the best way to serve the development community? What's the best way to serve residents of the city of Roswell? If we have somebody that wants to come to town and wants to develop, Meredith has probably overheard me a number of times sitting in meetings, and I ask the developer, bring your A game. Don't give me your B or send me your B or your C team. Send me your A team. Let's do not just let's just not do another Texas Roadhouse. Let's do the best Texas Roadhouse in the entire United States and have it right here in Roswell. Okay? So what do you need to tell us in order for you to have the best, most profitable Texas Roadhouse in the entire United States? And that's the way we're approaching development right now, is with a very open mind. The outpatient surgery center and the new bank, the Farm Credit Bank, and that's a classic example there. That was zoned, I believe, R4 or R3 originally. And it wasn't until we sat down with the outpatient surgery center and we started looking at all the options that it was, we should promote a change to, I think it was office professional or office commercial, that we went in there. That's what fits out there, and that's what's appropriate. Okay? So there are, there's a way to be successful with just about everybody. And unfortunately, not every property can be successful with everything proposed. We have to be a little more realistic about it. But if there's a way to make it work, we'll do our best to make it work.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
you guys are getting after it. You're doing good, and we appreciate it. Anything else? 7:14, we are adjourned.
Go out the front to the, I think the side door.